just for future reference, I took the picture of the thumbnail very specifically. Why I took it, for very specific reasons I'm not going to explain, but if you put two and two together, you may figure it out. I've spoken about this person very recently, quite a few times now, and I didn't expect this person to come in. I wasn't thinking about this person at all, really. And then just seemingly out of nowhere, this person then just pops out. And I experienced a fear response right in between my pecs here. Because of not her, but the fact that I really just did not expect to see her. Yep, it's a female, and she's not scary either. It's not like she's been muscling me about or anything like that, no. But I did experience it. I understand that I can experience a fear response over anything if I allow myself to, and that's where the main message of this video now comes in. I believe the reason I allowed myself to think about it, I refused to remove myself from that chair until I made sense of why I experienced that fear response. I was even saying immediately after I physically felt it in my sternum, in between my pecs here. Like, process. I was telling myself to process it in my mind, and I was thinking it through. After quite a fairly long time, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes of straight up thinking about what just happened, I started, in my opinion, making more sense of it. And the conclusion that I came up to as to why I experienced that was just very simply overthinking how I planned to go about having conversations with her. I said I wasn't going to because I've experienced the conversations to be very one-sided. So in my mind, I was saying, well, not even only in my mind, but in the videos, I was saying that I'm not going to speak to this person at all. If I do, it's that I'm going to put extremely minimal effort into having a conversation with her, because it seems like she's putting minimal effort into wanting to speak to me, in the sense that it seems like she was wanting to talk to me only because she's being spoken to, rather than her actually wanting to speak to me. And because of that, I thought, no, I know what it's like to have two-sided conversations, so I'm not going to go out of my way to go and speak to her at all. But I think the aftermath of that has now been me experiencing a fear response because of something that I thought of after getting up off the seat. And that is this. I think me being this specific with how I wanted to go about conversations, rather than making the decision to go about having conversations, or not having conversations with this person in particular in an appropriate way. No, let me try that again. I don't think that made sense. I think the reason why I experienced that was because I may have been putting way too much restriction on how I go about interacting with her, by making the decision to not want to speak to her at all. When in reality, what would be much healthier, I've now decided, is to interact in a way that I think is appropriate at the time of us being there. For example, meaning that I don't have to go excessively out of my way, like how I have done in the past, by staying for a while, staying at the gym for quite a bit, just in hopes to socialize. With her in particular, that is so sad. It's the truth though, that's why I took a long pause. It is the truth. This is what I've done recently. It is the truth. But I now understand, although I didn't expect to see her today, I understand that I don't have to go excessively out of my way to speak to anyone for that matter, nor do I have to restrict myself too much and say, oh, I don't want to speak to them at all because it didn't seem like they really wanted to speak to me. I don't have to do that. I don't have to restrict myself that much when I'm interacting and socializing with people. And that may be very unhealthy, because me doing that has now meant I've had an example of me experiencing the fear response because I've done that. And there's no need to do that when I could just appropriately interact with not just her, but with people in general. Like, don't have to go out of your way to basically force having a conversation. Just like you don't have to be too restrictive and say, well, I'm not talking to this person at all. And I just allow myself to sit there where I was sitting in the thumbnail for quite a while, quite a while after having the thoughts that I had after getting up, to just allow myself to experience that freedom, and that freedom, that way of thinking has given me, or that I've allowed myself to have, rather. I have as much freedom as I allow myself to. And it seems like restricting myself to an extent that I say, well, I don't want to speak to this person at all, even though I don't really have any issue with how they carry themselves or what they say. There's no need to do that, man. If I do have an issue with how they carry themselves, like one person in particular, then I don't mind saying I don't want to speak to this person at all. That doesn't bother me. And there's one guy in particular that I've spoken about in the having healthier boundaries and socializing video. When I see him, I don't have that. I've never had that fear response. However, when seeing this person now, I did today. It happened recently, but I made myself stay there and process it and work through it. And now I don't have to feel that fear ever again. It wasn't her that I was feeling fear over, I don't think. It was the fact that I was overthinking and putting way too much pressure on myself to try and act a specific way. That is what that was, and I had to work through that. It had nothing to do with her, really. Nothing. It was, well, for the most part anyway. And then I allow myself to just, after thinking what I've thought now, allow myself to just sit there and enjoy that wave, that freedom and that peace that I had from that way of thinking. And this is now meant, because I've done this, I now have healthier boundaries. I now have healthier boundaries with socializing, even more than I once did. Because I'm now thinking, okay, I don't have to excessively go out of my way to lead conversations, nor do I have to excessively restrict myself from conversations and say, oh, well, I'm not speaking to this person at all, even though I know deep down I don't have an issue with anything they've said to me or how they carry themselves. I don't need to do that. But anyway, those are just my thoughts on the matter, and I feel very happy and comfortable with this way of thinking, because I now have healthier boundaries with socializing, even more than I once did, which is amazing. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video documenting the fact that this has happened, and you guys out there may be able to learn something from this. If you do, great. If you don't, then there's nothing I could do about that. That's not my problem. This is just for me. Yeah, those are my thoughts on the matter, and I will see you in the next one. Imagine this is a break. This is supposed to be my break period. However, I'm making so many videos, even still, at least once a day, other than just like that 5-second clip of me saying break and then I'm like that. No, I'm still making videos. The consistency is unreal. And it will be for all other areas of my life because of that success map I've built for myself through this, making one video a day and then building up from that. Oh, yeah, the future's bright. Being very serious, the future's bright for me because of what I'm doing for myself. But anyway, yeah, I'm gone. Maybe you did enjoy, maybe you didn't enjoy. I don't know, but I do know this. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Me allowing myself to think these thoughts, I was just thinking, like, she's not special in that, you know. Like, she's not special, nor is it a big deal. Like, it's not really her. It's the stress that I put on myself to act a certain way. It's not her. It's not. It just may seem like it. Because when I looked at her, I experienced that response. Oh, man. But yeah, I've worked through it now. And now, when I see, look, I've been around sourcing little shits on the street, and in my peripheral vision, and I didn't even look. I didn't even go out my way to go and turn my head right to look. Them teenage little shits and their bikes and that. Nope, it doesn't matter to me anymore, and I'm feeling more relieved than ever. Recently, at least. Even after today's rough sleep. You may think, I made it seem like it was her and it was such a big deal. It's like, oh, I experienced a fear response, but I saw a female. That's what I was thinking, and that's why I may have felt shame. I genuinely may have felt shame in saying that. But it wasn't her. It wasn't her really. It was the stress I was putting on myself, and that right there I could have done to anyone, regardless of gender or how built or not built they are. Physically built, I'm talking about, yeah. I'm now feeling relieved again. But imagine if I didn't allow myself to process my thoughts on the matter. I just would have felt even more stressed every time I would have seen her, because I wouldn't have been processing my emotional thoughts and rational thoughts on the matter. But I've done that. Now I'm feeling physical relief, like a weight's being released from my sternum because of what I've done for myself. Now I can sigh a fresh breath of relief. Feels amazing every time. To feel lighter, I swear.